Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and I'm glad you're here. If you're new here, I am a crafter that loves to do a lot of different things. I knit, crochet, sew, and sometimes I get into other things. Sometimes I just stick with what I love the most. Now, today, and if you're coming back, thank you. I appreciate you. Now, I didn't want to forget you, so I had to speak up. So today we are going to dive into some of my knitting things. I'm not sure if they're called, what would you call them? Your knitting arsenal, your knitting tools, your notions. I mean, So if you're interested, grab you something to drink, grab your project, buckle up, buttercup, here we go. I'm sorry, I just came in from outside from taking the dog out to use the bathroom, and it is cold. I think it's like 20 something degrees out there. It's like insane. Mother Nature, you do know we are in the South. But I told y'all that I was thinking about doing this video, and I may do a crochet version. I don't know yet. It's up in the air. Okay, so for me, I have accumulated all of this stuff in the 29 years, I think. No. Roughly. Because I want to say it was around 96, 97 maybe when I first started knitting. So, yeah, it's been a long time. A couple decades. Almost 3 decades. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, if you're just now beginning, as I know some of you are, you don't have to have any of this. The only thing you absolutely need is 2 sticks and yarn. In its most basic form, that is what knitting is. Now, I started with straight needles, straight knitting needles, and I don't have any anymore, so I can't show you them because they didn't last long for me. It was, I want to say, maybe a year to 2 years that I knit with the straight needles, and then I found circulars, and that was it. My love affair began. And you'll see what I mean, because over the years I have accumulated a lot, and it's never been a bunch in any one time, with exception for 2 things. And I'll explain that when I get to them. But, and I'm still trying to warm up, y'all. Forgive me. I know I'm going back for my tea time and time again. Who would have thought that I would have ever been a tea drinker? Not me. I mean, I used to be strictly sodas, and that's it. I didn't drink a lick of water, and now I drink a soda a day. That's my Mountain Dew in the morning, and then I drink water all day. Except since it's gotten cold this winter, I have found that I actually like tea. I wouldn't have never figured that for myself. But y'all didn't come on here to talk about tea. Although tea and knitting go hand in hand, honestly, a lot of times. Not for everybody, but hey. Lately, it's been part of my arsenal. So anyway, Oh boy. Now, none of this is necessary, but I will tell you my humble opinion on what is helpful and what I've not used. Now, some of these haven't been used because they got put up and I forgot about them until I went collecting everything for today's video. And then some of them, you know, I just didn't use. Now, I don't have to cover the yarn part. I cover that every day, all day. But let's go to the sticks. Okay. I'm going to go from my earliest renditions after the straight needles. And I think I still have maybe a couple sets of straight needles, but they're in a bottom of a Rubbermaid, put up in storage, and that is what that is. Now, y'all know that I lost my house in a fire, or some of you may remember that, back in 2003. So the stuff that I had collected before then, which was not very many, it was not very much, but unfortunately it got destroyed in the fire. Now, after the fire, I was donated some things, and I thought that was very sweet of the people who donated it to me. And, you know, I appreciated it. Now, this was not one of those. I'm going to put that to the side because that actually doesn't go there. That goes there. Bear with me. I thought I had everything organized. But, so, I was given some bamboo. No, I don't think these were given to me then. I think I got these at a Hobby Lobby clearance in 18 or 19. So, we'll put that over to the side. These were the very first, very first ones that were donated to me. A local lady here at the library knew that I had lost my house and she knew I knit, so she gave me some of these. And it's just a little plasticky, I think it's metal, but yeah, it looks metal. And then another lady sent me a box of things because I was on the web at the time, and a group I was in, you know, she asked me what would I need, and I said, I don't know, I don't have anything. So she got together some yarn and some knitting needles, and she sent them to me. And that was, she just had a few different plastic versions of circular needles. And oops, I dropped one. Now this is the same size. This is 4.5 millimeter, and you know. Anyway, so I use these. I'm a real huge fan of the 4.5 millimeter. Even though most of the yarn that I used was worsted weight, and it made a little bit more tight of a fabric, but that's okay. I didn't mind. And back then, I hadn't really settled into my groove. I knew my tension, but I'm a lot more of a relaxed knitter now than I was back then. And that has just come with time. I don't know if you know, if any experienced knitters are going to watch this, but if you've noticed that, let me know, because it's very interesting to see, you know, the progress or the path you take on your knitting journey as to, you know, how often or how things change for you. Okay, then came Walmart, and I do love my little Walmart knitting needles. I got a ton of them over time. It's just boy circular needles in different sizes, different lengths. Oops, that wasn't boy. You know, and you can't see, I have little notes, like I have Adam's blanket US 10 or size 10. And then I have one over here that just says Mike. And I don't know where these knitting needles are. I think these are the ones that, Mike is my husband's name, but I was making something for him. Oh, no. I was teaching him to knit. That's what it was. Because this was a duplicate. I have another 4mm somewhere around here. But anyway, so the whole point of that was I just left myself little notes. And my daughter-in-law, I think she was using my 4.5. And yes, you know, the little baggies that these things come in, these are the original bags. And they've seen wear and they've seen tear. Now, there's nothing wrong with boy needles. If you're just now starting out, this is something I highly recommend. It's cost effective. You can get a single size or two, whichever one you find you're using the most of. And that goes back to your tension and what yarn you're using. Because some yarns, your tension may be a little looser or a little, you know, it just depends on how it feels in your hand, to me at least. So it's not a matter of always is what size needle you have and what size yarn you have. To me, it's how it flows through your hand, and if you're death gripping it, which I did for a few years, but these I would highly recommend. Or if you can get them on sale, Yarnology from Hobby Lobby. Now, they're very equivalent to me. These are interchangeable as far as quality and ability. I mean, how it feels to me. I don't have very many of these because, for one, I don't have, like this one right here was a 3.25 millimeter. I didn't have one in this. And Walmart didn't have one in the boys, so I went to Hobby Lobby. But Walmart was always my go-to for my knitting needles. And I will tell you this. Knitting needles are, any of this really, is, how can I say it? Get what you can afford reasonably now. And if you, as you progress and you get better and you get, you know, your abilities increase, dip your toe into other knitting needles. Because, oh, and I do have the Clover. Like I said, it was part of I'm pretty sure it was part of the clearance sale that I did from Hobby Lobby back in 18 or 19 or 17, 18 or 19. I don't remember. But back to my advice on that. These lasted me for years. And when I say years, I'm talking 2 decades. Because it's only been within the last few years that I've started expanding. And when I can't remember who I heard say Chiagu for the first time, or where I saw it. I don't know if it was somebody I heard, somebody I saw, something I read. I don't remember. But it became definitely my go-to. Now, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find where this little guy goes. Alright. And, don't you love my little, these were sheet bags. I mean, sheet pouches. And I was like, they would be perfect to hold my knitting needle collection together. Before this. We'll get to this. But like I said, it was a progression, right? Okay. So I bought my first Chiagoos, and if I'm not saying that right, forgive me. Hopefully it doesn't make your ears cringe every time you hear me say it. This was the very first one I bought. And that is a little 9-inch circular of the 2.75 millimeter for my sock yarn. And I'm going to tell you, I thought I was in love with the boy when I converted to circulars from the straight needles. I haven't noticed a quality difference in my knitting from my boy to my Chiagoos. I have noticed a drastic difference in the pleasure of using the tool, because there is a difference. Are these okay? Can you use those? Absolutely. I still use them from time to time. Not often. But sometimes, just like with crochet, you find that a material, a yarn, doesn't like the particular tool you're using, so you change. And, you know, I will never get rid of them for that reason. I might get rid of those over there that were donated to me right after my house fire, because I haven't used those in so many years that, yeah, I might just donate those. But this, and I'm showing you two because I bought another set. And I talked about that once before because I couldn't find that one. And I also have a 9mm circular in a 0, which is a 2mm. I've only used it once, and I can't remember. I think it was for cuffs or ribbing on a shirt. I can't remember. It's not coming to me right now. But anyway, as you can see, I'm going to do it just like I did the boys. As you can see, over the years, I have purchased quite a few. Now, most of these were off of Amazon. I bought a couple in a local shop near me because I couldn't wait on Amazon. But that shop closed down, and there went that chance of buying any more. But I mean, you can see I obviously love my Chiagoos. Well, I had an interchangeable wish list on my wish list for quite a while on Amazon. And they're not cheap. I'm going to go on the record saying that. So while I was not willing to spend that kind of crazy money, I said I wanted an assortment of sizes and lengths. So I went to Temu. Now I'm going to tell you, if you haven't, look at it. And yes, there's a lot of people that don't want to do it because of so many different reasons. And if that is you, ignore what I just said. You don't have to take my advice. But I went on Temu and I purchased all of these. I think, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 sizes of knitting needles. And I gotta tell you, I love them. I have used several of these because sometimes you just don't have. Now, the Chiaogus that I have, I would buy as I needed. But I thought, okay, it's going to be a long hot minute before I can afford to purchase a interchangeable set. So these were, I think they were less than $1 a circular needle, because I don't even think they were $14 for the set of 14 on Temu. I think they were like $10. But you can't beat that. I mean, I haven't used all of them. And now that I have the Chiaogu interchangeable, I don't know if I will. But I will keep them. Only because if my Chiaogus are tied up and I need a second, which really doesn't happen with me because I don't like doing multiple whips of one art at a time. At the most, I may have a sock or a hand towel for my on-the-go stuff, and then having a knitted project here at home. But usually, I only have a knitting, I'm going to do it this way, one knitting and one crochet. Because if I'd done it the other way, it would have been, yeah, not YouTube appropriate. But usually that's what I have going on. So I don't know that I'll use the Temus a whole lot, but you know, I have used them. I just don't know going forward in the future. I don't know if I'm going to, you know, be using them a lot. But like my boy, I'm not going to get rid of them because these are things I use often enough to where I don't want to get rid of them right now. I don't know because I have this now and it's still new enough to where I habitually try to go for this stuff, not thinking that I have this. But I'm going to crack these open today and use them for the first time. I'm so excited. Now, I did exchange these on Amazon. Originally, I had mistakenly put the 5-inch set on my wish list when I meant to put a 4-inch. Amazon exchanged them beautifully. I appreciate that. So, this handy little set, it comes with, it goes from 2.75 millimeter all the way up to 10 millimeter. And you get a set of each size. And then you have, see these are the, oops, hang tight. And if you've seen these, just bear with me. These are the small, which they have their own, there's 3 cable sizes, 8-inch, 14-inch, 22-inch, or 20 centimeter, 35 centimeter, and 55 centimeter that hook to these connectors, hook to those. And then you have your larges, when going from 5.5 millimeter up to 10 millimeter, and you have the same sizes, your 8, 14, and 22 inch, or 20 centimeter, 35 centimeter, and 55 centimeters. So you have 2 sets of hooks. You have 2 sets of cables, and you know it comes with stoppers and connectors and all that, and it's this was a gift that a sweet person that I won't name, but you know who you are, bought for me off my Amazon wish list, and I am so grateful for it because I love this thing. Now that I have my 4-inch, See, the 5-inch was just, they would have been a little bit too big for my hands. And I know that's funny because I say I have very large hands for a lady, but it just, the 4 feels natural because that's what I have been using over the years. I think the boy might be 5 in some of the bigger ones. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So some of the boys are 5. And that might be why I enjoyed the Chiagus so much more, because most of those were the 4s. Okay, so I've covered all my circular needles, right? Now, we're still in needles, we're still in sticks, and DPNs, double pointed needles. A lot of people have a love-hate relationship with these. I don't mind double pointed needles. They have their uses, and at the beginning of a project, when you're first now, and if you are increasing with the double pointed needles, they are fiddly. But once you do them enough, you'll get the hang of them. All right. This is where, obviously, all these Yarnologies from Hobby Lobby, this is where Hobby Lobby beat Walmart. Hobby Lobby had a bigger selection. Walmart only has a few double pointed needles in their selections, or they did when I needed all these. Now that I have them, I don't really need to go purchase double pointed needles because these are the most common sizes I use. You will find that doing it, don't buy all these numerous sets. Just buy a size when you need it. Yes, is it convenient to have it already? Yes. But if you only use, like, okay, say this one right here. It's 5mm. Don't use that particular size as an example, but say I only used this once, and it came in a set with 3 other ones, and 2 of them I used all the time, 1 I have never used, and then 1 I've used once. Do you see what I'm saying? So just buy a set, just buy, a set. Okay. My words are getting tangled up. They come in a set, but you can also buy a wide variety of them in sets at once, is what I was trying to say. But I've just accumulated these as I've needed them, and I don't know where this one's container went. But by the color, I'm willing to bet this was a boy. And I'll show you the next tool that will come in handy for this. Now, these come in handy when you're doing hats or you're doing something that has a smaller circumference. If you do not have a 9-inch circular, they're your go-to. They take practice, but once you master using them, they're just as good as any other tool in your arsenal. Trust me, they will work beautifully. And those are essential. You don't need them in the volume that I have them, as far as, I'm talking about the sticks part. Whether it be the circulars or the double pointed needles. Those are essentials. Now, we'll dive into other things that are not quite essentials, but are handy to have. Like this little thing. It's a gauge. It's a gauge ruler, and it's also a size. You can use it to find out the size, which I'm going to. Let's see. Okay. So this tells me, I put it through the hole, and it tells me it is a US size 4 It is a 3.5 millimeter. Now, this is not necessary. It does help in cases like this. Now, I either A, will try to find the, well, this was in my bag, my little sheet bag that I keep. You can see I had one for knitting. Well, I used to have one for knitting and one for, I used to have one. And then when I started collecting all those knitting needles, I ended up doing one for crochet and one for knitting. But it's primarily been knitting. And this guy has a couple holes in the bottom of it, so I'm not putting them back in there. I'll find another home for them. But seeing as it was in the bag like this, the pouch, it might have gotten torn and ripped, so it might not even be around anymore. Because those I do use, you know, decently. But this is handy. Now, I don't often use the gauge check, you know, to find out my gauge. Because usually I know my gauge because I use the same yarns so often. Now, if I knit with a new yarn, yes, I do like to know my gauge. Is it necessary? No. Most of the things I made had never required me to have gauge. But lately, and by lately I mean in the last few years, I have delved into making more knitwear. So it is a little bit more vital now. And I don't know when I'm going to bring this up in my videos, but I have a project that I'm about to revamp because I put it away because I didn't like it. It didn't fit me right. And I think now that I can alter it enough to where I like how it is. All right. Oh, and another essential. Needles of some kind. I love my little hook needle. Hold on. My little hook needle. I love that little needle. I can weave in ends quick with this thing. But I don't have to have it. I can use just a regular straight, you know, just a regular straight needle. And these actually came in a package with something. I can't remember what it came in with. But I was like, it's handy because it's just like a little tube. Oop. Yeah, a little tube with a stopper. Now, I will make a disclaimer this morning. Nothing has decided. Most of the things in my life this morning have not wanted to work for me. Started making me some reusable flannel paper towels on my sewing machine. It started messing up on me. I wanted to make some ear warmers for my niece on my Centro. It started messing up on me. And everything I've been trying to do with my hands have been messing up. So it's like, okay, so if I get nothing else done today, I'm going to record this video for y'all. So if I'm dropping things and blundering, I'm sorry. It's just been one of those days or one of those mornings. Because I want to say it's about 9 or 10. And it's a long day ahead of me if this keeps happening. But I do have some knitting that I want to get done. Since the Centro is being behind with me, I think I'm going to just break out my Chiagus and knit her the 2 ear warmers that she wants. She's going on a trip to New York in a couple weeks or a few weeks, and she asked me if I could make her some, so I told her yeah. But anyway, Alright. Stitch holders. I have a lot more of these. I just don't know where they're at the moment. These are the two most common that I use. These and one that looks like a gem, not a gem clip. What's the... like a diaper pin? Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't think of the word right now. It's escaping me. But anyway, I have one like that that's like this long. A lot of crocheters are like, what is this? Well, it's a stitch holder, and it comes in handy a lot. This actually is not a stitch holder. It's a cable needle. I have used this a total maybe 3-4 times. I don't knit a whole lot of cables. But this is definitely a stitch holder, which can be a cable needle, cable holder too. Yeah, it works. Those are not essential. Those actually came, I got them with something, and I can't remember what it was. This might have been in some of the stuff that got donated to me after the fire, because I've had them that long. I've had them a long, long time. Now, I say this is not essential, but yet I have 2 of them. Actually, I have 3 of them. One is in there by my recliner at the moment. Stitch counters, row counters. Now, this one, I think, no, my silver one that I have in there, I think I got it from Walmart, and then these 2 I got from Hobby Lobby. For years, I used pen and paper and just did tally marks. I still do that if I don't want to be bothered with strapping this alone to my finger. It saves me from having to put my needles down and do the tally mark. It's not essential. It is handy. And if you can get them, you know, they're a few bucks. This one right here says $3.99 from Hobby Lobby. But now that was a few years ago. I've had these things for a long minute. So I don't know how much they are now. In fact, most of my stuff I've had for a long minute, and when I say a long minute, I'm saying, you know, at least 5 years or more. Now, with the exception of a few things, like the stuff I got from Temu, and this, because this I got from Temu. But look, isn't that darling? It's little stitch holders, stitch markers. I've not used these yet. I haven't been long got them. And I'm thinking a few months. But this is one that I put away and forgot I had. Because they will be... These won't go in my Notions tins. Simply because they are so big. But I can put them visible, so that if I need one in a project, I can. And any of these stitch markers I'm going to show you are not essential. I have used yarn. I have used paper clips. You know, anything can be a stitch marker. They're not, you don't have to waste the money on them. Now, over time, I have, every now and again, I would splurge and get something that I didn't need, but I wanted. Do you understand? You know, there's a distinction that we all know. And that's one of them. Now, these stitch markers are the ones I use the most often. Alright? That is these little plastic ones that I got off Amazon for little or nothing for a set of. Oop. Yeah, my hands aren't working. Alright, it's gone for the moment. Anyway, it's the little plastic diaper pin type. You know, just easy peasy. I like these and the light bulb, the little metal light bulb ones. Like these. Because you can add them when you're knitting. You can either slide them over your needle, or if you're past, you can use it as progress keepers. Like if you want to say you quit working on a project and you mark that row with this, and then you keep working and you're like, oh wow, you know, this is how much I've done since then. Or if you want to mark a certain way after you've already a few rows away, you know, you can open these little puppies up and simply slip it in there. Or this is, and this happens more often than not with me. Like when I'm knitting socks, when I get to the heel portion, I mark off 24 stitches, and then I will slip this. I'll open it and slip it on my circular needles, so that I know where the front of my heel section goes. And you know, they're not essential, but they come in handy, and they're relatively cheap, so you can kind of weigh whether it's essential to you or not. Because like I said, many times I have used, and still use sometimes, like those stitch holders. I will use a little piece of yarn, and I've not even opened this thing, which I'm opening it now. So I've had this for a few months, and obviously it's not essential because I've never used it. They're needle stoppers. Now these would come in handy if I had a lot of on the go or a lot of whips that I put down for any length of time. You know, you put these on there and you won't lose your live stitches. But like I said, I don't keep a lot of whips going at one time. It was a Temu thing. I think they were under the $1.99 section, so I bought them. Because, you know, I thought I may need them or may use them, and I've not. I've not. Same with these. But I will say, these are so blasted adorable, even if I haven't used them yet. They're just too cute. Again, I think it was under the $1.99 thing. But now you have to, these are pretty substantial holes. So I don't even know. They were put up, these three things, I got them all at the same time, and they were put up, and I'd forgot about them. Yep. A measuring tape. Essential. Essential to me. Now, if you don't have one, a ruler works just as easy. And most times people have these laying around. The only reason why I like these measuring tapes is they're flexible. And I've had this poor thing so long. I want to say probably after the house fire. It's been that long. Anyway, you do need a way of measuring stuff. So to me, this is essential. It's, yeah, to me, it's essential. And it's not essential to everybody, but now, I don't know how much I'm going to use this now that I have the ChiaoGoo interchangeables, because you can literally put the stoppers on the end of those and take the needles off if you want to transport your work, or you want to take it off to try it on. Ugh. All right. I'm having a very hard time opening this thing. And I think it's just my hands are not working. There we go. Today, they're just not working properly. All right. These are, even though they look like little skulls, they're little stoppers. I'm going to put them in my lap for the moment. Actually, I'm going to just put them right there. Okay. So, this little thing is handy. Is it essential? No. Waste yarn will do the same thing. In fact, when I showed those fingerless gloves that I was making, that I ended up ripping out, oh, that thing stinks. Good thing y'all can't smell. Yeah, that thing stinks. It might be the tin. I'm going to soak this in some soapy water after I film this video because it stinks. I haven't used this one yet. The other one, I have another one that is on that project that I was telling y'all about that I don't know that what I'm gonna do. And then I was using it on my cotton t-shirt that I knit so that I could try it on. Because that's what this thing does. It's handy. So what you do, this is your knitting needles with your project, right? You literally just put it on the tip there and slide your working stitches, your live stitches onto this. Unplug it. Thread it through here. And you will be able to try on whatever you're trying on without fear of losing any live stitches. Now, is it handy? Yes. It's not needed at all. I bought two, and I have been using one. I haven't used this one yet. And like I said, I'm definitely going to soak that in some soapy water because it stinks. Now, I know there's a lot of things on the net, on YouTube, online, that says, you know, these are must-haves. You need to do these. You need to do this, and you need this a tool, and you need this equipment. And like I said when I first started this video, you don't need anything but sticks and yarn, and you can do the most basic sticks that you can find. You don't need to waste money to enjoy your knitting craft. I only have this much because I have been knitting so long. And I'll tell you, for most of it, I mean, like the stitch markers and stuff, these and all of these right here, these are recent, you know. I mean, now those are like a couple months ago. The knitting needles, I want to say about a year. Wow, I've been on Temu that long. Wow. And I have just upgraded over time to other needles. So, you know, it is what it is. And now I go to my very last thing. Bags. Now, yeah, I got these from Temu. These were free. I don't know why they sent me two. But it says, what part of K2, P3, K2 TOG, P2 TBL, K3, SL1, MIL, or M1L don't you understand? I think this is so blasted cute. Have I used them yet? No. But they were free. And I was like, okay. But see, they were free because I was playing that Fishland game. That's how I got them free. And this right here, which I thought was very cute, came with those knitting needles. I haven't even used this yet. And I've had, like I said, I've had this almost a year and I've never used it. But I said when I got it, I was like, that would be very awesome as a sock, you know, doing a little sock project bag. But now I make my own sock project bags, so I don't really need those. But you know what I might do? I might take these little puppies, since my other one is got holes in it, I might take all of these out and put them in here. And then use the other one for my crochet hooks and stuff. Yeah, I think I might do that. In fact, I'm going to put that right there with that so that I can remember. Because, you know, my memory is not the best. Alright, and so this is a little notion bag I got at my local crafts, Aiken's Making, my little craft thing, craft market back in September. And these right here, I found at Dollar Tree. You know, $1.25. They're not essential, but they're cheap. And if I need them, I have them. Now, because the reason I say, in any project bag, notions bag, projects bag, notion bags, Ziploc bags. You can put all your little things in a Ziploc bag. Zip it, I mean, you know, a little hefty one zip or Ziploc zippers, zips, and project bag. It was always a grocery bag, like Walmart, Food Line, you know, Bi-Lo, back when we still had Bi-Lo around. Those were always my project bags. And hold on, this is a Joann bag, but they still are sometimes, you know. So you don't need all of this stuff, but you tend to accumulate it over time. And if you're just now starting out, don't go blowing your money on the newest, the latest gadgets, because you really don't need them. You can do your tally marks, you can, you know, or highlighters on a pattern. If you have a printed pattern, you know, some people do it on their phone, some people do it on their tablet, some people do it on their laptops. I go both ways. I do printed and digital, so I find digital is easier to take around with me, especially if I have it on my phone. But I don't have any way to mark them off. And I know there's probably apps out there. I just cleaned my phone up from having all these crazy unused apps that I never use. And passwords, goodness, don't get me started on passwords. I don't like apps that I have to have passwords for, or websites that I have to have passwords for, because I used to keep the same password, and then when everything started getting hacked and everything's so hackable, they're like, you need a password that has alphanumeric and characters and capitals and I must be getting old. Actually, I'm not. I have a certain way of not remembering things. But anyway, if you have stuck with me this long, thank you. I hope this has shed some light on it for you. I know there may be a lot of people that disagree with some of the versions of me saying essential or not. But and everybody's unique and everybody's different. I just wanted to give you my take on it. Because at heart, I am a very simple lady. I don't need all the bells and whistles. I know. That seems odd because I upgraded my sewing machine and it has a lot more bells and whistles. But I got with my discount at work, I got that bells and whistles for about the same price I would have anywhere else for basic machine. So if I can have the bells and whistles for the same price as basic machine, yeah, I'll take the bells and whistles. But anyway, and I may do one for crochet and I may do one for sewing. I don't know yet. If you liked my video, give me a thumbs up, please. Subscribe if you want to see what's coming down the road, because I'm going to be doing different things. I don't want to get stuck in the same old that I have seen myself trying to fall into, and I've seen other podcasters fall into. Because while there are times to where I just want to hang out with my favorite podcasters and listen to them while I work or while I, do things, there are times to where when they do something different, it's like, oh, I perk up and say, what you got going on? So, yeah, there's some different stuff that I have coming, and stick around for it. Maybe you'll like it, right? That was cold. I have talked so long that my tea got cold. Well, that was the last sip of it anyway, but I'm going to get off here. I had a blast, and I realized that there are some things that I just don't use. So now will come the decision, do I keep it? Do I donate it? Do I gift it? I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I know that, and I'm sorry, my throat is so dry. And that last little sip of tea just didn't work. That's why I always have at least something to drink. Even when I'm not recording, I have to have something to drink. But anyway, I'll figure out what to do with these things that I don't use anymore. But for that, on that note, I'm going to get off here and let y'all go. I hope you have a great day. Do something you enjoy. Do something that makes you smile, makes you happy. Even if you're at work. Compliment somebody, because it'll make you feel better and make them feel great. Something like that, I do try to do something like that every day, because bringing others pleasure and joy makes me happy too. It's contagious. So I will see y'all next time. Have a great one. Bye.